So for the last interview today, I have here on camera Bryon Surace. He is the program manager for Hyper-V. And well, please.
Yeah, well, as you said, my name is Bryon Surace. I'm a program manager on the Windows Server division focused on Hyper-V and private cloud technologies.
Cool, and you did a few presentations here at TechEd?
I did 3 presentations. I did a presentation on basically all the new features and technologies around virtualization going into Windows Server 2012. And let me tell you, that was hard to do in one session. That should really be about 5 sessions. And then I did a session on dynamic memory. And I also did a session on the new live migration options that are in Server 2012.
So Hyper-V in Windows Server 2012 is really the next step in virtualization for Microsoft. You're moving towards this great other party that is doing virtualization, VMware. Do you think you're better now than what they can deliver?
Well, I'll be honest, I have a tremendous amount of respect for VMware. They are a fierce competitor. We like to do better than them. We like to add more value than them, but it always is a competition. But with Server 2012, I think we've done a phenomenal job. We don't typically like to talk about checkboxes, which means they have this, we have this. But if you do talk about checkboxes, in most regards, we actually are better than them. Our scalability, our performance oftentimes, our live migration options are all further than what VMware offers today.
So, and is this something that you already notice in the market currently, that larger companies are moving towards Hyper-V?
We do see a lot of companies moving to Hyper-V. I think the value proposition combined with the complete technology set that we offer, I think is moving them over. Our goal with Hyper-V in Server 2012 was to really provide the foundation for private cloud. The scalability, the high availability, the full feature set is really what we focused on. And in most regards, we just try to blow out the doors on all the technology. With 64 processors in a single virtual machine, a terabyte of RAM, 64 nodes in a cluster. Most of these things, people are saying, I don't have workloads that large. And that's really kind of the goal, is to virtualize the things that you never thought were virtualizable, and really to move all the obstacles from virtualizing your workloads in your environment using Hyper-V.
It's about removing obstacles. I was in your session, yeah. And the part that I liked the best was about the zombies in Hyper-V Server 2008 R2.
Oh yes. Well, I wish I could claim that for myself. That actually came from a colleague of mine named Ben Armstrong, and the concept there was our new import technology in Hyper-V. So when you export a virtual machine, back in the old days when you imported it, we would pretty much never fail. We just continued to march along. So it was almost like a zombie walking down the hallway, losing body parts. So in the old days, when we'd import a virtual machine and say the location you're moving it to didn't have as many processors as you needed, we just set the processors down to 1. Or if you didn't have enough memory, we just set it down to 512. So we could get in a state where the imported virtual machine looks nothing like what was originally started with. So it would be a zombie losing its parts, but it would still finish. Now, we do a lot of checks in Hyper-V during import. So we'll actually prompt the user and say, hey, the switch that you used to have connected is not available on your new location. What would you like to do? So we really make intelligent decisions to warn the user where there may have been errors and allow them to make the best decision at that point. So that's Ben Armstrong's zombie analogy.
Okay. Very cool. Well, I'm a user of Hyper-V and I really love it, especially in Windows 8. Now it's moved to the client.
Yes.
One thing is still missing from the client. Are we going to see a real good client application for Hyper-V in the near future?
Well, how do you mean a client application for Hyper-V? I'm not certain how you mean.
If you look at the competition,
yes,
they have a real nice interface to manage your virtual machines on the client.
Yes.
And it has much more usability features than the Hyper-V manager, which is more technology focused than user focused,
right,
on Hyper-V.
Well, I think there's always a balance there. One of the things we did want to do is have the same interface whether you're running it on server or client. Because we do see a lot of users in a development and test environment starting to develop and do their typical tasks on their client, and then they move it into pre-production and test environments on servers. And we do think there is value in keeping those user interfaces consistent. To your point, there's also things we can do better to ensure that it is usable for the common user who's more familiar with the client OS. So we're always looking at ways to improve, but we are looking for that balance.
Well, thank you very much. Very interesting interview.
Yeah.
And I hope to see you at the next conference.
Thank you very much. I enjoyed it. Thank you.